And this evening tonight, talking about building compassion and curiosity and online learning, we have the Yo Azama. Yo Azama has been an educator for over 25 years, teaching students in Japanese from kindergarten all the way through college. He is the lead instructional coach and world language curriculum specialist for Salinas Union High School District. And he also serves as a college board advisor for the AP Japanese Language and Culture Development Committee. He has received many awards, including, but certainly not limited to, the 2012 Actful Language Teacher of the Year. And he has actually been a great motivator for me when I was doing my introductory teaching work. I clearly remember seeing a video from Yo that showed his passion and joy for teaching. And so I was very excited when he agreed to join us this evening. Yo, I want to go ahead and turn it over to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Sarah, thanks again for your warm welcome. Yes, I'm Yo Azama. I taught Japanese for 25 years. Right now, I serve as district lead instructional coach in the district office. I would like to make this presentation as interactive possible. And so I need your help, everyone. I have no idea how many people out there. Could be 50, could be 1,000, I don't know. But anyways, if you could put your name in school and one word to describe your feeling right now in the chat, that would be appreciated. Thank you. Where are you guys from? Who are you? Jeff Fincher is busy. Ellen, yes, welcome. Alicia, yeah, you're anxious. Yeah, anxiety is real. Stephen, welcome. You like to be inspired. Tired? Motivated? Yes, Thursday after school. Of course, we all are tired. Welcome, Kim, Alicia, Olga. Awesome. Michigan, hello. Awesome. Great. You know, every time we do webinar like this, sometimes we don't get to see people's faces. I feel like I'm talking to myself, you know, which one should never do in a supermarket or something. People look at you twice, you know. So anyway, now I know people are there. Thank you. Thank you. You know, as to make a way to make a connection with the students and also participants, this is a quick activity for us. Just like me, works like this. I'd like to talk a little bit about me, 3 or 4 sentences describing about myself. If that applies to you, you type just like me in the chat. Does it sound good? All right. I have a cat that I love. If that applies to you, type just like me. No one likes cats in this room. All right. All right. No one likes cats. Oh, love cats, but allergic. Oh, okay, Sarah. Okay. Dog lover here. Okay. All right. Just like me. Emily, I like you better than anybody else right now, Emily, because you and I share the same thing. I miss traveling overseas. I know, right, Jeff? I know, I know. Like, let's go. Let's go. Let's go overseas. How about this? Okay, this is where we get like personal. Okay, you ready? I use the filter feature on Zoom. I use filter. Kimova, thank you for being honest. I'm not the only one maxing out my filter and the Zoom. Thank you, Jim. I know some of us need filter to look like this. This is not, accident. So thank you. I feel connected with you, even in such a short time. I already feel connected to you. I hope you feel connected with me as well. Perhaps you can do this in the language you're teaching. In Japanese, watashi mo, that would be just like me, or Spanish, or Mandarin, and so forth. Okay. Yes. Objectives. In the next 35 or 40 minutes, those are the things that I would like to accomplish with you together. I'd like to have a volunteer. I'd like to ask Jim, can I ask you to read the first goal, please?
Certainly. The first goal is explore our social and emotional well-being and how they impact our students.
Thank you. Thank you. Very clear. Thank you, Jim. Next person, Alicia G. Can I have you read the second one, please? Is Alicia G there?
Yes.
Yes. Welcome, Alicia. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, and I noticed that somebody else has an AG in there.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm not sure, but anyway. So connect learning stages to social and emotional elements.
Thank you. Thank you for participating. Last person, we'd like to invite Ellen Hart. Ellen, could you read the last one with emotion? Because we're talking about social emotion, right? With the emotion now. Ellen Hart.
All right. Gain ideas to activate and promote compassion and curiosity in the classroom community.
All right. Good job. That was emotion exploding. So good. So those are three objectives that I have for us for next 40 minutes or so. All right, if that sounds good, which one of them speaks to you the most? What are you most excited to take away from this session? Please access to the Jamboard and share your answers. I'm also going to put Jamboard link in the chat as well. One should never assume everyone has used Jamboard, right? So if this is your first time using Jamboard, click on the link and go to the left. You see the sticky note where you can share your ideas there. All right. Meanwhile, I'm going to put the objectives one more time as a reference. Which one of them or something else you'd like to take away from this session? Go ahead. Please share your answer. Fostering curiosity, yes. Not sure, not sure yet. Anything, everything. Gain ideas. Okay, rekindle my joy of teaching. Yeah, well said, Sarah. Make a learner smile. Yes. If they turn on their camera, yeah. New ideas, new SEL ideas to help connect with students. Yes. How about a few more? Anyway, we have 50-some people, right? While you are typing and reading others' comments, I just wanted to take off my presenter hat and the facilitator hat. I just wanted to let you know, taking the moment to kind of reflect on the objectives with the students such as this, to have them write what they want to take away from that lesson could be powerful a preparation for learning before class starts. And naturally, you suspected we can come back to this and see if we achieve those goals. Sounds good? All right, it's moving on. All right, I know the screen's kind of small, isn't it? I'm gonna make it big. All right. So that we made a connection with each other, made a clear objectives, and we asked participants to share their desire, what they want to learn from, take away from this session. And next 30 minutes is going to be divided into this way. First, I'm going to be introducing the idea of our social and emotional lens. How do we view our own social and emotional competence? And then next, with that knowledge, we're going to dive into quickly, really short, but a lesson design components. What are some elements of designing an effective lesson that promotes students' emotional engagement and the cognitive engagement as well? They go together hand in hand. And lastly, teacher-student interaction. Shara did an awesome presentation, many stories that we could connect. Really stories moved us because we have had those students, we have those moments. So intuitively, we know how important that is I also like to spend some time and kind of dissecting some components of how we can increase teacher-student interaction. All right. Let's start with our social and emotional lens. Sharon mentioned in her speech somewhere that it's really a perspective, right? Sharon was a hard teacher before, but now she started listening, spending time, which is not easy to do. Listening requires some kind of surrender on us and suspension of our judgment. So it is actually a skill that we have to develop. But if we do that, students will open up more. So how do we view our own social and emotional competence? This series, I assume you guys have some exposure to SEL framework. I'm not going to deep dive into that, but oops, one more back. So in a nutshell, those are the core components of SEL framework, right? Self-awareness, the one's ability to notice our own feeling, okay? Sometimes, many times, we live our life mechanically, automatically. So it's really, it's challenging but rewarding to pause and stop and notice our feeling before we make that quick judgment and quick things, decisions. I learned that average teacher makes about 1,500, I believe 1,500 instructional decisions during instructional time. Can you believe it? Average teacher per day, 1,500 decisions they make. So we are so accustomed to make decisions. No, yes, you can go. But what that does is doesn't leave us room to be present. So self-awareness is to pause, check in our own feeling. As a matter of fact, this is not easy to do. That's why I have a little sticky here on my screen, stop and strip and see. What that means, this saved me so much. If some kind of challenging things comes up in the conversation, instead of answering right away, stop, pause, and strip it. What is it really? And see what it is as it is. And another thing that I use is one moment, let me get back to you. That saved me so many times too. Because that's not rude, right? If you have a student asking a question or a teacher asking you a tough question, nothing wrong by saying, you know what, that's a good point. You know what, I don't have the answer. I think your question is really important. Can I get back to you on that? And then respond later. So self-awareness, first checking our feeling. Self-management, same thing, right? Another thing is that really manage our, after noticing awareness, the ability to manage our own feelings. Social awareness, the ability to understand the perspective and empathize with others. And the relationship skills, the ability to establish and maintain healthy and supportive relationship. And then finally, responsible decision making. We often think about those skills that students need to gain, but next few minutes, I'd like to give all of us opportunity to think about, reflect on our own SEL. So this is a Slido, right? If you go to Slido, and you can punch in the number 575141. How do I do that? Oh, I have to hit that yes button, then I log in. Okay, there you go. There you go. All right. You can access to slido.com and punch in that number 575411, or you can use the QR code. to answer, which area do you feel the least confident? Oh, I was going to say the most confident. I skipped one. That's okay. Let's start with the least one. Self-management. Okay. I know I go for the chocolate. Is the chocolate? Yeah, I'm just my body moves automatically. Relationship skills, social awareness. We're all the time, we're busy, and we neglect to kind of pay attention to our own feelings and self-management as well. Okay, thank you. All right. Now, next question is, which area do you feel the most confident? Interesting. Yeah, relationship skills. At least that's what we think, right? I don't know what others, people around us think of us, but we think I'm pretty good at relationship skills. All right, awesome. Hope this provided all of us an opportunity to kind of reflect on our SEL, because frankly, if we don't take care of ourselves in SEL, we cannot really provide space for them, right? It's hard to do it. So it's kind of a prerequisite, I think, as an instructor, in order to create such a SEL-rich environment, we have to self-reflect on our SEL as well. Thank you. So what are some observations that you make between your own social and emotional competences and those you want to promote in your class? What are some observations that you make? Please put your observations in your chat. Oh, Sabrina, I'm glad you like the Slido. Yeah, it's free. If you have Google Slides, you should be able to use it. I'll give you about 55 seconds to answer this question. What are some observations that you make between your own social and emotional competences and those you want to promote in your class? Thank you, Becky. Yeah, if you respect them and they respect you back, yeah, like duh, but it's sometimes, something prevents us from being, we think we're respectful, but our action can sometimes perceived as commanding or lack of respect. As a teacher, I tend to take temperature by observing all the students. Yes, that's an ability, isn't it? Stop and engage. And we'll get to that in the last section when we talk about student-teacher relationship. We'll get to the strategy for that. All right. Thank you. So that was the part of the quick check-in with SEL and time to reflect on our SEL and make connections, our SEL and SELs that we promote in classroom. Now, with that knowledge, I'd like to invite you to think about the lesson design. Now, when we talk about lesson design, we're not talking about just lesson design for online learning, but online learning as well as in-person, face-to-face learning situation as well. Do you remember Bob Ross? Yeah. It's hard to see things when you're too close. Take a step back and look. Kind of like this, right? Step back and look. Take a balcony view and then see it. It's funny, we're all instructors, whether we are online teaching or face-to-face teaching. And when you see Hollywood movies that feature teachers, like, what movies pops up in mind? The movies that feature excellent teacher. Go ahead, write that in the chat as well. I remember Dangerous Mind. I think Dead Poet Society. Yeah. Robin Williams. To Serve with Love. So those great movies, right? They always show classroom setting where teachers and students are interacting passionately, right? They never, ever show teacher designing a lesson. It's just not sexy visually, it's just sitting in front of the computer, typing it, thinking it, but we all know that's like a big part of our job, isn't it? Making a lesson, correct? Oh yeah, enlarge, yes. So thank you. So then, but Hollywood, they don't care. So now I'd like to, invite you to this lesson design section. And today's lesson design, I'd like to introduce a global competence framework. When I started teaching a long time ago, 25, 26, 7 years ago, I was 5 years old. I was making activities that are fun for kids, right? But soon I learned that there's a limitation. And the research I was not using. So global competence framework has really helped me with the lesson design. First, lesson starts with investigate the world, this blue section, where students investigate the world beyond their immediate environment. With that knowledge, they gain perspectives. Shifted to recognize perspective phase. Then with this knowledge and different perspective, students communicate ideas with each other. Then finally, based on the knowledge and result from the discussion, and students take action with the knowledge and the language they acquired. For example, students in Japanese class could make a public service announcement to bring awareness of child poverty. And that's kind of epidemic in Japan right now. Or take an action to create a flyer to promote environmental issues, etc. So in a nutshell, that's a global competence framework in a really quick manner. So with this competence framework, how do they tie in with this SEL and affective sizes? 20 minutes left? Okay, good. So on the left, you see global competence phase, activate prior knowledge and investigate the world and recognize perspective, etc. Intention behind this, each section is such as this. Priming, connecting to prior knowledge and experience. Shara also mentioned about knowing the students is so crucial. Get to know them. What do they like? What's their house? Life is like. More information, the better, right? And activate the prior knowledge and investigate the world. When you create activities or tasks, you want to consider those 4 elements as you create them. Engage students with intriguing questions, meaningful focus activities, and receptive skills. As a language teacher, one of the first mistakes I made was I kind of forced students to produce at the beginning of the lesson. Come on, because I get nervous, right? I got nervous like as a newbie teacher. Come on, say it, repeat after me, kind of thing. But in fact, students need more time to explore, listen, and read. This is true in online and face-to-face environment as well. Then recognize perspectives. When you create design tasks and activities, you want to consider those elements. How are you making a collaborative learning space for our students? Are we providing reading where kids can access to content knowledge? Are we focusing on receptive skills or productive skills? Those are kind of key intention that's really helpful when we create a lesson. Okay. QR code on the left, you have access to the whole print, and so you can review that later. And how is that connected with SEL? I just wanted to, this is my little attempt to show the lesson flow, types of activities, and SEL, how do they fit? Prior knowledge and honoring what they bring to classroom. many students in my region already speak Spanish or Tagalog. Those are assets. So how can we leverage students' asset in our classroom? So that helps them bring self-awareness and self-management and investigate the world, self-awareness and social awareness, because they are learning about Japanese people's perspectives. And the next section, recognize perspective section, self-awareness, social awareness, and relationship skills, and so forth. How's it back up as a strategies, effect size, and many of you are familiar with John Hattie's famous research, right? And 0.40 indicate anything above 0.40 is considered have a strong impact in a student's growth. So look at that. Strategy to integrate prior knowledge as 0.93% of a hinge point. I mean, the effect size, that's huge. So I kind of put the strategies and effect size for you. So as you make a lesson, design a lesson, you can kind of think about it with those things in mind. And tech tools, and this is online teachers mostly, and you know more than I do. So these are just examples of something that you can do in those each stage. Okay. All right. I know that's a lot going on here. I'm gonna pause. How about this? I'm gonna pause for 30 seconds. If you have any questions or comment about the chart, please put in the chat as well. Okay, yeah, the link. Yes, I can put the link in there too. Let's see. Yes, the researcher's name is Hattie. Yes. Yeah, look him up. He did one of the biggest study in the world in education, and really looked at activities and tasks and analyzed effect size, what impact each of those tasks has. So it's really, really interesting study. It's really beneficial. So you're welcome, Vicki. So last year, the classroom teachers, we were forced to go online, full remote online. And Japanese teachers, 6 to 7 Japanese teachers in our district got together. It was over a weekend, actually. I remember the 13th, Friday the 13th, right? We went in lockdown. Never forget. And the next Monday, we locked down and we had to quickly shift our instruction online. So one good thing, and one of the actually many good things that came out of this pandemic time, and kind of weird to say, but it is true, some good things came out. One of them was we created asynchronous lesson for students rather quickly. In that short period of time, we were able to produce videos and video lessons for students so they can take their own time, because we knew that this is an opportunity actually for students to kind of learn individually and at their own pace. So we wanted to leverage that. So we quickly shifted our lesson in the asynchronous situation. And I'm going to put the link in here too, so you can kind of navigate through. So in the video library, teachers created, mostly, teacher created videos. And I'm going to give you one example. Of face mask video, because this is at the beginning of the pandemic and there was a shortage of masks. And we create a video. And also you see the prior knowledge activation before watching here. And the students watch the video. Of course, they can stop and watch it again over and over. Then comprehension questions following the video. And also kind of inference questions. And lastly, the next step, create your own mask. We invite students to make their own mask following our video instruction. And finally, reflect on learning. So sure, some students finish in 30, 40, maybe 1 hour. Some students took a couple of days to do this and so forth. And it took adults to make videos a day or two, you know, it's a learning curve there. So, but we're so proud of our accomplishment here. So that was video library, some ideas. You probably already do it. And lastly, teacher-student interaction. How can we promote compassion in our classroom? The word kindness popped out, Shara's talk, and also the Q&A session. Times like this, we could use more kindness towards each other and towards ourselves as well. You know, this guy, Carl Rogers, famous psychologist, once said, when someone really hears you without passing judgment on you, without trying to take responsibility for you, without trying to mold you, it feels damn good. Do you have a friend or family member that you talk to and after you're talking, you feel like you really listened to, you were seen by them? You are lucky. You're lucky to have that person. And guess what? We can be that person for our students. Oftentimes, we're so guilty. We're busy, one task, another task. Remember, 15,000, 1,500, decisions we make throughout the day. We need to pause and really have to listen to the person in front of us, which is student, without judgment, without solutions even. It's really hard to do because we're so solution-oriented. Solutionitis, that's a disease. Did you know that? So often we give advice, then unsolicited. No one's asking you for advice. So pause and be there and listen. And I'll give you how to listen, some of the strategies that you can listen better, okay? There's a website called Compassion Resilience. Wonderful resources. As a matter of fact, in our district, we did a 6-day series for teachers after school to learn about compassion resilience training. It was wonderful. Today, I'm introducing one powerful document, compassion action steps. When colleagues or student comes to you, first notice and be present in the moment and be able to recognize the signs of distress. You know your student. He's always charming, smiling. Today, he's not smiling. What's going on? As Sarah mentioned, she can scan everyone in the classroom, and that something's not right over there. It's kind of intuition that we've developed over time. First, notice. And then you might think, duh, of course we notice, but as a matter, it's many times, again, we're busy. We don't notice many things many times. So notice is the first thing, the most important thing in my opinion. If you don't notice, there's no other steps. After noticing it, self-check. Be aware of your initial thoughts and feelings. I'm listening to this student's problem. What feelings comes up? Where do I feel it even? Like heart or stomach? Somewhere else? Notice it without judgment. seek understanding, suspend appraisal or judgment, or listen for feelings and strength. Students cannot articulate. Shara again mentioned the students that I don't know, or they don't share. They not that they don't have the feeling, but they don't have vocabulary to express it. So really listen and help them figure out what word describes their feelings, and cultivate empathy. Now, sometimes easy, sometimes it's difficult, and really develop a genuine concern, even someone who has a different opinion. Right now, we live in a society that opinions are really driving the bus, but opinions are overrated. Really, the values, we should focus on our values, because you know what? Two people can have different opinions, share the same value. I know, is it possible? It is possible. So cultivate empathy, especially when the time is hard and the other person has different opinion from you. It's our time to find the empathy point and discern best action. This important part is co-plan, not you giving them, student or colleague, advice. You and the colleague or student co-design with the strategy to overcome this challenge. Then finally, take action. Follow up with the student. Hey, you say you're going to do this. Did you follow up? How's it going? How are you feeling? Always follow up, follow up, follow up. As an instructional coach, I calendar, because I forget coaching many individuals. I make sure 1 week later and calendar pops up. My job is to email or call. Hey, what's up? How's it going? So follow up is important. So compassionate action steps help you find this one helpful as you interact with your colleague or student. And after all that, first realizing our CL strength and the areas that we need to pay more attention, and lesson design. I walked you through using global competence framework this time. I hope I was able to make connection with SEL. Then talked about little strategies, how we can relate, build relationship with our colleague and students. With that, really lead to celebration of success that I'd like to kind of showcase here. Last year and the year before as well, the pandemic time, still endemic, hopefully coming to that. During that time, our students were able to accomplish a lot. So example of that is this website. Oh, where is this one? Sorry about that. In the district, we had Japanese Impact Showcase, where students and parents and community members and principals join remotely in Zoom, and students share their work during that time. I'm not going to go over every element of this, but I just want to highlight impact data. During that time, we were doing remote learning 100%. And 238 projects are submitted among 6 schools. And we learned so much as teachers, we learned so much, and students learned so much as well. And those are some students' feedback. I was having doubt about how it would turn out, and I'll doubt myself a lot, but doing this project kind of helped me realize that I can make things work out if I really put my mind to it. This is a student reflection. So it's heartwarming and a true reflection coming from a student really made our effort worthy. And takeaway for teachers. Both teachers and learners activate curiosity. we really have to use that curiosity lens, activate curiosity using interesting, relevant topic. Not easy, something they can do. No, real things, real world problems in our world language classrooms. Multiple ways to express. Students had choice to make a video, audio, writing, drawing, etc. In doing this time, teachers learn how to be a coach. Stop teaching, start coaching. So learning in the driver's seat. So that's something we learned this time. Regular communication was planned, and feedback, and give students opportunity to make an impact, even in small scale in the world, whatever that might be. And reflection. You know, some John Dewey, I think, famous educator, researcher, said, we don't learn from our experience. We learn from our reflection on the experience. So that's powerful. So even time is limited, it's really important for us to provide students time to reflect and take time to reflect on our own teaching as well. So I think that will come to the end almost. So we did start that session with the social emotional lens and lesson design aligned with the SEL and teacher-student interaction, some of the strategies and mindset that I shared with you to even strengthen, more your relationship with your students. All right, now is the reflection time. Again, as I said, reflection is important. I'd like to invite you to reflect on our session. You see pluses and wishes. Pluses, I'd like to you to share one thing that you're taking away. One thing that helped you learn the content, or some connection that you made. And wishes, something that you wish to see more, or wish for me to explain more or explore more. So plus and wishes. Please go ahead and spend about a minute to share your feedback, pluses and wishes.
Yo, I do want to thank you again for coming out tonight and teaching us about everything that you went over. And we had some great questions come in the chat, in our Q&A box, if you have a few moments.
Yes, let's see.
Fantastic, thank you. So this is from Alicia G.
Yeah.
All the ideas are interesting for tech use. Have you had experiences with students who do not have good connectivity to use all of those tools? And the second part is, how did you manage that situation if you had that sort of issue?
Does she mean by connectivity or internet connectivity or personal connectivity?
It sounds like this is more related to access to the tech tools.
Yes, thank you for that question. Yes, my school is a Title I school, and each student has a Chromebook, and we provide Wi-Fi connection too. So, and more students do have a cell phone, and that's becoming their, everything, right? Phone and internet and computer and everything, so forth. So, yes, definitely, we had students with a weak internet connection. That it's inevitable. Some things that we cannot, overcome easily, but we do our best to minimize that. So when that happens, we delivered paper copy to the house. And so those are kind of things that we try during that time. I don't know if you answered.
Definitely. And that shows how educators are just so willing to go the extra mile and how appreciated that is. And we have another great question from Katja Anderson. How do you distinguish between students that demand compassion and those who need compassion even more, but suffer in silence?
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, we tend to pay attention to those who succeed and those who failing badly or acting out, right? But in the middle, silent group, that's not the middle, but like silent group, how do we reach out? You know, my idol, educator idol, one of them is Parker Palmer. Many of you might know Parker Palmer is an educator and an author and writer and poet. He described a situation like this, like instead of going to the woods and the capture wolf, was it, or animals like that, they will run away. So stay out and kind of wait until they will come to you, kind of invite them, create opportunities for them to kind of come to you, be open. And it's kind of weird to say this, but almost like a psychic. But if our mind is kind of truly open and spacious, if we can be at that spacious space, students seem to gravitate towards you, reach out to you. It's hard to explain. It's almost magical, but I almost hate to say this is the strategy you should do, because we all do have those strategies. You know it. But what I encourage all of us to do is ourselves go to the space, mind space, where abundant spaciousness is there and compassion is there. Students do see that. So just a little example is past 2-3 weeks, ever since the semester started, I've been back in classroom because we have a huge shortage of substitute teachers, okay? I've been loving it, subbing PE, social studies, and finally Japanese, etc., all classes. One girl in social studies class a couple of days ago, after the class day, she came to me. Guess what? She was looking at me like this many times. I was wondering why she was looking at me for. She was drawing a picture of me like this during class time. And I was wondering, why was she making the connection? And Shara, you love this. She noticed that I was wearing a rainbow band like this, just a little thing that she noticed. I like your rainbow band. Here, she gave me this. I don't know what happened to this area. She was hungry. I don't know. But this is the last page of her sketchbook that she drew. And then she doesn't know me. I don't teach her on a regular basis. But anyway, my point is, she was a quiet kid, and her name is Natalie, and sitting there, but she felt compelled to share this drawing with me. I don't know. I didn't do anything, but I did my best to be available for them. That's what I did. I know. Sorry, it wasn't a strategy or anything, but mindset that I would say. Yeah. Thank you, Sarah.
That was such a neat story. That actually happened to me. One of my students, although I don't spend a lot of time interacting in a more live environment, she sent me a drawing that was of me, and I didn't ask her to do that, but I thought that was so cool.
Oh.
There is something, as you had mentioned, as we become more seasoned educators, that we can become a little intuitive in terms of if you can sense that something seems a little bit off.
Yeah.
And I always will err on the side of caution, and I don't necessarily have to do it in the form of I'm intervening, I'm really concerned about your well-being. It's more in the form of, how are things going?
Yes.
I saw this really neat article related to our culture discussion last week, and I thought I might pass it along to you.
Yes.
And these are all great conversation starters, great ways to get students involved. So I don't see any other comments or questions in our chats. I do want to remind everyone that in addition to the Jamboard, which lots of great stuff on there, if you could please take a moment to fill out
the survey that was sent out from NFLRC on this presentation. Again, we do love to get feedback for our panelists. And we want to thank everyone again for coming out. And I don't know, depending on where everyone is, I'm hoping that everyone is safe and dry and not being impacted by the ice storm coming through right now. But stay safe, take care. And Yo, again, thank you so much for your time tonight. We really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much. I hope you find this information useful, and take care of yourself and be safe. Yeah, be safe out there. Yeah, thank you.